Convert a header from PSD to HTML. This will be the first video in a PSD to HTML playlist I'm making. The goal is to teach you how to convert a PSD to HTML piece by piece from the ground up. As you can see in the design, this is just a simple header. I will show you how to convert a few of these in future videos. All websites has a header, so this is a good place to start. I did it oversimplified so anyone with basic HTML and CSS knowledge can follow. First, we will code some HTML. The first div we create is the container. Almost all websites has a container div. In this case, it will only contain a header. After that, inside the container, we create a header div to hold our logo and menu. The logo is just an image and the menu is a UL element with links inside of its li list items. And that's all the HTML we will need. I created the img tag for the logo and the UL for the menu. Now let's go over the CSS. First, in the body, I set margin to 0, just in case. I had a problem in my browser that gave it 8 pixels margin, so I set it to 0. Next, I set the font to Ubuntu. It's a free Google font. I included the Ubuntu font link at the top of the HTML in the head tag. I decided making the container of the menu 80% width. This would represent the menu the best in my opinion. I centered it using margin 0 auto. The header, I gave a min height of 21 pixels. The background color I took from the PSD using the eyedrop tool. And the text color I set to white. I measured the header height using the marquee tool. As you can see, it's 91 pixels. The colors I got using the eyedrop tool. In the header UL style, I set the list style to none to get rid of the default bullet points a UL has. I use display inline block to make the UL display in the same line as the image and be centered. People usually use float in those cases, but inline block worked for me here. I tested it and it worked. There is no why it worked. Other than that, it needed a margin bottom of 30 pixels and the margin left of 160 pixels, both measured from the PSD. I'll show you in the next slide. As you can see, the margin space left is 160 pixels and the bottom margin is 31 pixels. In the web page, 30 worked better. The actual margin right is 170 pixels because the element has a default left space from the logo, but it's very close to what they call pixel perfect. The li is floated left, so the links will be side by side and has a margin right of 30 pixels. This is how I measure the margin right in Photoshop for the LI elements. Finally, we have the link style. It has a white color. Its font size is 30 pixels. And to get rid of the link's default underline, I set text decoration to none. To get the font size from Photoshop, I use the text tool to select the menu text layer. At the text toolbar, you will get all the information about the text, the size, color, and even alignment. All that is left is the media query for the smartphone screens. In the CSS, this looks like this. I centered everything by using align center on the header. I reset the UL margin to 0 pixels and gave it a fixed width because the display inline block gave me problems. And finally, I gave the LI a margin top so there will be space between each list item. And that's it. This tutorial also has a Sass file. I created the tutorial CSS using Sass. This was just an example of how to convert PSD's header to pure HTML and CSS. In the next videos, we will do a couple of more headers, and after that, other page parts from PSD to HTML and CSS.